All right. So if you go on the Google Classroom for this class, you'll see that I posted observational drawing development and final. I didn't set a due date on it yet because I'll be setting that next week when we get into the actual drawing side of things. But if you go ahead and click on it, it doesn't do it for me for some reason. If you click on it, it'll pull up an instructional sheet as well as the video of me teaching you a little bit more about observational drawing. And I'm also going to post this video that I'm making now of my screen going through the instructional sheet, but I have to go to classwork and grab it that way for whatever reason. So the observational drawing, why I kind of start with this as the first assignment for my drawing class is because it helps you with proportions. It helps you identify light and dark areas in a drawing and recreating those in your drawing. I should have said from life, but so identifying a light source, blending those values appropriately, and just overall looking at that depth and dimension in real life and translating it to an image. So things that are closer to you have more detail, things that are further away from you have less detail. And you guys will see that because I'm going to have you guys outside finding things out there to draw compared to finding things in the room, especially with the weather being the way it is. Might as well get outside. I don't think it'll be as hot next week. So as you go through the instructional sheet, you'll see these are all the things you will do. So you're going to choose an interesting and personally challenging object, or you can do an entire landscape for your still life drawing since we will be outside. And I say personally challenging because some things are very hard to draw where other things aren't as hard to draw. So in my example, I have a tree that I'm showing you guys how to do proportions and things like that. And I'd say that's about medium for difficulty level. It would be a good starting point, but flowers would be a good starting point. A simple looking plant would be a good starting point. If you're really unsure about your drawing abilities, if you feel like you're a very strong drawer, I would encourage you to choose a more challenging subject matter just so that you're not completely bored with this assignment and that it's actually challenging your drawing abilities. So what we're going to be getting into next week is starting with observation drawing. They're going to be rough sketches is what I have written in here, but we're going to be getting outside and you're just going to be practicing drawing things from life, how to judge the distance between things, and translating that to a two-dimensional surface from a 3D life. As I said, proportions, light source, contours of light and dark. So the light source obviously outside is going to be the sun, and you're going to be able to see when we're out there the shadows and things like that. Identifying the light and dark areas. What's most helpful is simply going by the colors that you're seeing. So blue is a darker color than yellow. So in black and white, it's going to appear darker as well. Green would be another, it's a bit darker. If it's a light green though, it's going to be lighter than like a dark like pine tree green compared to like grass green. Grass green is typically like light yellowish green. So really looking at the colors and seeing that can be a bit of a challenge too, but we're going to start first with just the contour lines or like the very outermost details of it. In your final drawing, I will expect that to be like your values placed into it, your proportions are correct, and you're using a light source, so can I tell where the sun was coming from in that picture? So you guys are going to be given at least 2 weeks to do this, so you will be given enough time. And if it happens to be like we have a rainy day or something, just in case, I may have you guys take pictures of what you're drawing outside so that we can work inside if weather isn't working with us or whatever it may be. Going down. So employing knowledge and use of craftsmanship, the elements of art in order to create a quality work. So this is when you're turning in your final drawing. I don't want to see rips in it. I don't want it to be like crumpled in any way. Going in and taking the time to make sure that there's not a lot of smudging. The pencil marks are where you want them to be. The blending is how you want it to look. Basically, it's the time and effort that you're putting into it to make it the best quality that you can. I understand that everybody's is going to look different because everybody's at different ability levels, but I still expect you to put in the most effort that you can to get the best result out of it for yourself. We will be doing a final critique in this as well. So I feel like a lot of you have had me in class. At the end of a project, we do a critique where you present it to the class. We give you feedback on things that you did well, things that you can maybe improve on. And really that's just put there to help you become better. The feedback that you give each other should be helpful in a way where you're able to build on your skills and develop those skills knowing, okay, this is what I need to improve on. This is what I kind of have mastered for now. I'll work on improving my shading or my blending or whatever it may be. There will also be an artist statement at the end of the assignment. So this is where you're documenting and communicating to me that artistic process, the artistic processes that you took to create the work of art that you made. So I expect a description of the work, process of creating the work, the big idea behind the work, your goals relative to that work, and your overall thoughts. So personally critiquing it yourself as well in that artist statement. The rubric below goes into those expectations and what I'll be looking for as far as quality, things like that. I'll make that a little bit bigger. But understanding, selecting, and apply artistic media and techniques and processes. So that's going to be, do you have 5 values represented in your final drawing? This is going to be a black and white drawing where you are shading. So I'm looking for those shaded values. I'm looking that you had correct proportions. And I'm looking that there's dimension and depth created using those values. So can I tell that you were attempting to draw a 3-dimensional object, or does your object just look really flat because your values weren't placed correctly, or you didn't have enough values in there? The refining your artistic work with craftsmanship and the elements of art. So this is, you're not just getting something done within, so I'll give you probably 2 to 3 weeks to do this assignment. Are you using that time to your advantage and spreading out your work so that you fill that and you're actually putting time and effort into your work? Are you getting it done within the first 5 days and there's obvious errors on there. Some of your proportions aren't right because you didn't want to take the time to erase them and fix them, or whatever it may be. Do you have smudges all over your paper? Those are things I'll be looking for here. The bottom two are going to be the critique and the artist statement. On your own time, you can go ahead and read through those. But also when it comes to the time where we're actually critiquing and actually doing artist statements, I'll go into some more instruction on my expectations for those, what it takes to be exemplary, proficient, beginning, and developing. So what I'll do